Robert Yates saw his driver Dale Jarrett out front for 12 laps. Then Jeff Gordon took over and is currently the leader. Gordon has lifted that Winston Cup trophy on 3 different occasions in his short career, but the man to beat this year for the Winston Cup appears to be Dale Jarrett, who has a 300-point lead in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series as we enter this 22nd event of 1999. There's how they run. After 40 of the 200 laps, we have been green all the way so far. And now 6 through 10, Ward Burton was the pole sitter, is back to 6th, followed by Elliott, Jeff Burton, Jeffrey Bodine, and John Andretti. 42 cars still on the lead lap. The only car not on the lead lap is Ted Musgrave, who has dropped a cylinder, and now Kyle Petty goes a lap down in 42nd position.
Kyle Petty told us yesterday during the NASCAR Busch Series race that no matter what he did, that maybe he was the governor because everything they did to the car, it ran the same speed. He just could not find the speed he needed in that Hot Wheels Pontiac to keep up with these guys.
Here comes 3rd and 4th, Bobby Labonte and Mark Martin. There is Ward Burton, Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton, Jeffrey Bodine, and John Andretti. And back there in the now 13th position and trying to take over 12th from Michael Waltrip is Tony Stewart.
What an incredible run this young man has had.
Started the 37th, so he's picked up 24th positions.
He was 3rd fastest in happy hour last evening, John Kernan.
Well, Bob, that is a brand new race car. The only other time it's been on the track, they tested it at Indianapolis. Tony has told the crew that the car is a little bit free off the corners, but other than that, it's all right. Remember the first 20 laps? He followed Dale Earnhardt through the traffic. Well, Earnhardt's car picked up a push. Tony motored on by and has pulled away from him. And the interesting thing, in the last few laps, he's starting to run quicker lap times. He started out at a 40-80. The next lap, it was a 40-70. Then a 40-60. Last time, a 40-50. So Tony Stewart getting faster.
BP, I'm sure you watched this last week. Remember, he got penalized, had to serve a penalty on pit road, dropped way back to the field, and he came up to finish in 6th position. And
amazing,
again,
yes.
It was only his 2nd road course race in a Winston Cup car.
There you see Musgrave on the inside, as Bob told you just a moment ago, is running on 7 cylinders now. One is failed.
Pennzoil Copter Cam has these overhead shots for you as the race progresses under green. According to what we told you early in the race, we should be seeing some pit stops before very long because we're almost to the 45-lap mark.
Yeah, I would say in the next 5 laps or so, as the brothers Burton run side by side here, and Jeff just goes right on by and takes over that 7th position.
Here's a Napa field summary showing you the manufacturer's points battle with Ford out on top. Jarrett, of course, the best of the Ford contingent right now in 2nd position. They have 4 of the top 10 positions, and Chevy has 3 of the top 10 positions, including the leader, and Pontiac with 3 drivers in the top 10, and Tony Stewart very close.
Well, right now we're on lap 45. I think as soon as we see lap 50, we'll see maybe even 48 or 49. We'll see several cars stop and get the tire change and make some much-needed adjustments. But they want to get to the point they can make this on 3 stops rather than have to stop that 4th time.
Yeah, I would say that we'll see some coming in 48 laps. And Jeff Bodine and John Andretti battling for the 9th position. Bodine is 9th, and Andretti in 10th place has caught Jeffrey.
And 2 distinct different lines. Jeffrey Bodine on the very bottom of the racetrack and John Andretti at the very top.
We have a caution waving on the racetrack.
Here's the car. Is that Dave Marcus trying to get his lap back?
And he does. Davey Green's trying to, but he didn't get there.
First caution of the race comes out on the 48th lap.
No, first caution of the year.
Here at Michigan.
In Michigan, that's right. Pace car quickly moves onto the racetrack and will catch up to Jeff Gordon. Yeah, it's kind of unusual to see a caution. You only had a couple during the Busch race yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, it's 40.
Just one. One?
Okay. I wouldn't do much to that.
See David Green and Dick Trickle in the M&M's car in the place of Ernie Irvin, having to back off because they did not beat the leader, Jeff Gordon, back to the line.
And I don't think it was necessarily a situation of Gordon just trying to keep them a lap down. He didn't realize he was going to get the caution until he was coming off of turn 4, and he did back off at that time once he realized that he was going to get the caution, and Dave Marcus was able to get by, but the others were too far behind to get a run on him to get by.
Apparently there is debris on the track down in turn 1 because a sweeper has moved to that point of the racetrack. However, this caution does come at a very good time because, as we had just talked about, it was almost time for the first round of pit stops.
And no one had pitted, so no one really gets penalized yet, so that's good.
On board with Rusty Wallace, now Ricky Rudd, as we are going to see a whole bunch of cars come in for a stop.
Wheel straight. Stop on the board.
Going up and down, trying to tell the driver where they're located.
Down to John Kernick.
Tony Stewart is in for a 4-tire change. They made an air pressure adjustment to try and tighten the car up just a little bit. Also, a wedge adjustment. Down to Jeff Gordon's pit and Bill Weber.
Jeff Gordon is a little tight off the turns, but not much. Perhaps a slight air pressure adjustment. Other than that, no changes. 4 tires and lots of fuel. 48 laps on the board. Back to Labonte.
Likewise, Bobby Labonte, tight coming off the corners, an air pressure adjustment on all 4 tires, and now it is a race down pit road. Looks like Gordon will get it, Jarrett, and then Bobby Labonte. Great pit work here for the first stop of the day.
Gordon, Jarrett, Labonte, Burton, Elliott, Martin, and Tony Stewart in that order coming off.
What a huge break this was for Tony Stewart because he's now able to catch up with the lead cars and find out just how good he is. Jerry Punch.
Oh, it looks like possibly the pinion gear, the rear end gear may have come out of the 31 car as he was trying to leave pit road. Mike Skinner came in for a routine pit stop, started to leave, something popped, and now they're scrambling to get the Lowe's Chevrolet back behind the wall and be able to take a look at the rear end. They're saying over the radio, and I'm listening right now to Mike talking to Larry McReynolds, and they think it may be the pinion gear. And Benny and Ed, you guys can explain exactly what we're talking about because we have concrete here where you have to leave pit road.
Yeah, we see a line of oil right there going. There it comes off pit road. This concrete pit road gets such a grip and they let these cars down that a lot of times you break something in the drive line.
Well, many had high hopes for Mike Skinner here today. He qualified second fast, started on the front row, but his car is behind the wall right now.